if you want to get the authentic news for Edo the way it be, that's why they show and all they cut anything come on at VOP TV.
This is African News on Voice of the People Television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeats, the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People Television. Stay with us.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Hello there, my name is Damilola Ogunsi, also known as the Goldfish.
Hi, my name is Chiki Bright Emmanuel. I'm an actor and a filmmaker.
Hello peeps, my name is Yomi E. Adejimo.
Hi everyone, I'm Paul Utomi.
Hi everyone, my name is Stacey Benjamin and this is Voice of the People TV.
I need you to keep it locked to VOP TV. See, I'm looking for good entertainment. You want to get good movies, good music, politics, talk shows, sports and entertainment. You really want a channel that gives you everything you need without you having to run around. VOP is where you are. That's Voice of the People.
If you're not listening to this, you're not one of us and you deserve to be killed. Scrap chat. Don't be killed, but watch it or I'll find you and I want you.
And you are locked on VOP TV. Don't go nowhere. This is where the juice is. This is where all you need for entertainment, politics, movies, and whatnot.
And keep watching VOP TV.
So keep it locked because I'm locked already, man, and it's money back guarantee. So you're going to have a good time because I do.
And please keep watching VOP TV.
I won't want you actually, I beg you, subscribe, watch it. If not, whatever you see.
You better not touch that die because VOP is the plot.
Voice of the People. You can hear me now. My name is Patrick Doyle, and I wish that you continue to echo the voices of the people. Big up VOP TV.
My name is Suibifa Dokubo. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, my name is Kwekumali Ikenda Onyekwena, and I am with the Voice of the People TV. Now, if you're looking for the veritable channel for information, politics, robust discussions, you don't need to go far. VOP has you. VOP will always have you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Diabwa, aka Ibani Chuka. I'm Ayanabo the Eagle King, and you are watching VOP TV. Stay with us.
My name is Esther. They call me the Oga of them are the general overseer of them all. Every man, every woman has got a voice where integrity is the volume. So this is Voice of the People's TV. Voice of the People's TV. So this is the people's voice. And the people's voice is the voice of God. That's the voice populi in Latin. The people's voice is the voice of God. So keep watching Voice of the People. In fact, my name is Voice of the People. Keep watching MC Adobe King. Hi
guys, my name is Kagan. I am Nigeria's biggest tech content creator, and I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Voice of the People TV.
Keep watching, enjoy, and you're welcome. My name is MC Alamano. They say they call me Enjoyment Landlord. It's VOP TV. Keep watching VOP TV. Don't touch it down. Even if you want to touch it down, increase the volume. If you don't increase the volume, why told me? My name is Collins Agawabe, popularly known as No Maiden. But last, more than No Maiden. More. Not be all show the cook right at the fry plantain. We keep on watching VOP TV. Hey. The voice of the people, the voice of Edo. If you want to get the authentic news for Edo, the way it be, that's why they show and all they cut anything come on. A VOP TV.
The 2564 is coming up on Burning 9, right? The 2564 Atlantic Tower.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I. From social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
My name is Tao Familoni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
Arararara, my name is Made Kuti, and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Join Moses, Chukuma and Fina on Voice of the People TM. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
Welcome to Kitty's Corner. Every weekend is a new journey. Join Auntie Oni as she embarks on thrilling adventures. Each episode takes the young explorers to a different fantastical world filled with exciting challenges, making new friends and learning valuable life lessons. The show begins with lots of excitement in a cozy storytelling mood. Fairies teach the importance of kindness, honesty, bravery, teamwork, or curiosity. Kitty's Corner is a delightful blend of fun, education, and imagination with catchy songs, interactive games, and heartwarming stories. Join Auntie Oni every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. on Voice of the People Television. Kitty's Corner, perfect destination for curious minds.
Hello there, my name is Damilola Ogunsi, also known as the Goldfish.
Hi, my name is Chiki Bright Emmanuel. I'm an actor and a filmmaker.
Hello, peeps. My name is Yomi E. Adejumo.
Hi, everyone. I'm Paul Utomi.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stacey Benjamin, and this is Voice of the People TV.
I need you to keep it locked to VOP TV. See, are you looking for good entertainment? You want to get good movies, good music, politics, talk shows, sports and entertainment. You really want a channel that gives you everything you need without you having to run around. VOP is where you are. That's Voice of the People.
If you're not listening to this, you're not one of us, and you deserve to be killed. Scrap chat. Don't be killed, but watch it, or I'll find you, and I want you.
And you are locked on VOP TV. Don't go nowhere. This is where the juice is. This is where all you need for entertainment, politics, movies, and whatnot.
And keep watching VOP TV.
So keep it locked, because I'm locked already, man, and it's money back guarantee. So you're gonna have a good time, because I do.
And please keep watching VOP TV.
I want you to actually, I beg you, subscribe, watch it. If not, whatever you see.
You better not touch that dial, because VOP is the plot.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People Television, where your health has a voice.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Arpillon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, please
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I. From social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me Ovisha Nelson One, your number one celebrity host, and you are watching Voice of the People Television, VOP. Stay tuned.
Uyi Osarite is my name. I am a friend of the microphone, Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging, picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course, the quality of human beings that I see sometimes on your channel. I talk and get paid, and I look forward to being in your studios.
Oh yes, you are on to Voice of the People TV. Live here in Benin City, the cradle of black civilization. What are you waiting for? Tune in, bro.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice. Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
The 2564 is coming up on Barney 9, right? The 2564 Atlantic Tower.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe!
Good morning and welcome to VOP This Morning. It's a rainy Thursday in the city of Lagos, where we're broadcasting from, of course, in this part of town. And a lot of people are asking, why? Why do we have rains at this time of the year? When we should be, it's winter in some parts of the world, but here, the tropics, we should be having Hamatan haze. But anyway, climate change and those other things seem to have altered the order of things. But anyway, it's raining, so that's information that you might be able to use in terms of knowing exactly what to put on and how to navigate your way this morning. But talking about navigating your way, we'll be helping you through some political stories this morning and trying to make sense of it. I am Moses Humphrey.
And I'm Fina. Okay, Chuku, good to have you on board today's VOP This Morning.
Thanks for joining us. I am Chukwuma Okoro. I like what Moses said. We'll help you navigate politically. That is political navigation.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Join us.
Well, let's dive into one of the stories that, made social media go up in flames, in quote now. The president's son, Seyi Tinubu, was seen with a motorcade yesterday. And, it was a fleet of vehicles and, escorting him what Professor Wole Soyinka described as battalion-size security escort around Seyi Tinubu, the president's son, saying it represents a gross misallocation of state resources. Now, Soyinka made the remarks on Tuesday in Lagos at the 20th Wole Soyinka Awards for Investigative Reporting. He recalled stepping out of a hotel in Ikoyi and being confronted by a large formation of heavily armed personnel, a scene he initially mistook for a film shoot. Well, the professor said he later discovered that the security operatives were attached to Seyi Tinubu, describing the scale of the deployment as excessive for a private citizen. He warned that such practices undermine fairness, distort security priorities, and deepen public resentment at a time when many communities remain exposed to banditry, kidnapping, violent crimes. Well, referencing the recent failed coup attempt in the Benin Republic, Professor Soyinka stated that the president could have spared the deployment of Nigerian troops and military aircraft if the same troops attached to his son had been sent instead. He cautioned against the elevation of the president's family to untouchable status, insisting that restraint must guide the use of state power. And yes, I think that to me is the first time he's speaking truth to power in recent times. We've seen the president's family, the first family, as it were. The other time, it was the first lady who, at this moment, is not a political actor, cautioning Governor Adeleke. And then her reaction, her response to the backlash on social media leaves, little to be desired. Because she said, look, critics just take these things out of control. They blow it out of proportion. I think if she had just kept quiet and apologized, it would have been a lot more better. And then we've also seen one of the president's daughters, who is Iyoloja in Lagos, extending the Iyoloja status to Benin, wanting to become Iyoloja general. And you start to ask yourself, what's going on? What exactly is going on? What is going on? We've seen the president, it was the president's son flying private jet to a polo match, and then it was the president's son attending FEC meeting, even though the president condemned it, but then we still saw the son traveling abroad with him, wanting to shake hands with presidents and the rest. So it's like you're condemning in public, but then behind closed doors, like, oh, well, just continue. Something is wrong somewhere. I think a lot of those around the president don't take him seriously, and it calls for concern, because one of the issues we will be talking about this morning borders around the withdrawal of police escorts from VIPs. The president's on a VIP. He is a VIP. Yes, he is a VIP. He's the yes, he's a VIP. He's the first one. If anything should happen to him, it will cause trouble. So yes, he's a VIP. He can have one or two security detail, not a retinue. It's just too much. All right. And then another thing of concern here is right after, I don't know, is it that the IGP doesn't even have control over his men? Because the president gave the order, and I like to believe the IGP sent the signal, all right? But we still saw policemen flout that to the extent that one who was caught was demoted the other day. He was demoted. So you start to ask yourself, if those whose job it is, to uphold law and order are lawless and disorderly, then what sort of society are we in? Oh well, I'll drop my mic at this point and let my colleagues give their view before we get into newspapers and other conversation. And by the way, we do apologize for starting the show later than intended. But come along with us, join us on social media, across social media. We are VOP TV Live, and be part of the conversation.
Moses, thank you for dropping the mic. We are not putting it off. Like
Yes.
off the mic. You do they are dropping it. So
Because we didn't give him 5 minutes.
5
5 minutes.
just 5 minutes to end his speech. Well, Moses has
I wasn't going to
covered-
dance anyway. Maybe if I was going to
Moses
dance.
has covered a lot of ground. When I looked at when I saw the video and I followed through, to Professor Wole Soyinka said, "Look, Mr. President, next time you need troops, just call Sheyi, call your son, because he has a lot. He has enough, to help you with. It speaks to the kind of you see the thing about dictatorship. Dictators don't just start in one day. It's piecemeal, step by step, little by little, and they keep trying the waters by curtailing free speech, by flying impunity in their faces, and everybody keeps quiet, nobody says anything, and the thing keeps going. It will get to a point where there will be enough ground to just cover everybody, and you won't have anything to say. We are talking about withdrawing escorts, security detail from very important personalities, and we still have the son of the president. The professor described, he said it's battalion size. I think a battalion is made up of 60 soldiers or thereabout. And so when he describes Sheyi Tinubu's escort details as battalion size, he speaks to the large number of people that guide him. And he's talking about 15 armed soldiers, armed to the teeth. He didn't talk about, or probably he didn't know about plain clothes, SSS and others that mill around the young man. Well, he's the president first son, but that doesn't take away from the fact that he's not a state actor and all of that. A lot's already been said about this. Well, if the president is intentional in ensuring that, look, the first family stays out of, public discourse, what he should do is to give him one or two, probably one soldier, one SSS and all of that, and Nigerians will move on.
Give him one soldier, one SSS as the first son of the president. Where have we seen that play out in Western world or in Senate climb to start with?
Oh yes,
we are not in the
No, we copy so many things from them. So we have to find a way, not just cherry pick or pick the one that favor us and dwell on
The
it.
president's children
I think
would have security details.
I think what we're having
they will
here
have
is
security
more like
detail.
selective direct. If you actually say we're having selective direction, because the
Directive.
president, the president when he was saying pull out everyone from VIPs. I expected it to be, charity beginning at home to start with. If you check out what the Constitution also states, I don't think we should have a policeman attached to the president. It should be DSS or SSS attached
The
to him and
president,
all that.
attached to the president,
No.
are you talking about his ADC?
I'm talking about his ADC and other
His
persons
ADC
and his orderlies and
because
every
he's the
person that should be
commander-in-chief,
around
he's
him.
entitled to a soldier as his ADC,
Now,
and
when
not
you-
below the rank of a colonel.
When you talk about his family, his immediate family, and the fleet of security personnel that we've seen, when Soyinka was talking, Soyinka was like, I thought it was even a film shoot, more like a film setting, but boom, it wasn't what it was just the president's son trying to stay in a hotel and those people are outside and all that. And we also saw the video that we saw there. It's when Yoweri Museveni began in Uganda, people were asking what is happening. The daughter, the wife, the son-in-law, they all occupy vital positions, and people will ask what is happening and all that. But now we'll see something like that happen. The taxpayers' money is always seeing being spent.
No, Fina, I think let's cut to the chase. The fact of the matter is that it's condemnable. Everybody has condemned it. But my position is that as the president's son, he should be entitled to one or two.
One or two,
Yes,
not the
it's
fleets that we're
strange.
seeing.
It's not strange. I had Melia and Shasha Obama had security details and all of that. It's not president's son. They could come in harm's way because of policy decisions and all of that they make that affect some set of people negatively.
I don't really think we are ready. When we're ready, we'll know we are ready. Because I'm still aggrieved over the fact that you used our jet to go watch polo. That one still hot.
It was still
Sorry, let me apologize.
You don't apologize
You can't be
to me.
aggrieved up
It was
until
condemned
this.
as well. It was condemned.
Yes, it was. So sorry. On behalf of Sheyi,
More
I
can we don't
apologize.
stop this morning?
So let's move on to let's quickly run to the papers now. Let's take a few headlines from Nigerian Tribune. The big story here is Tinubu insists on withdrawal of police escort from VIPs. Directs minister to contact IGP, get presidential clearance when senators. When necessary, okay? Get presidential clearance when necessary. Senators raise questions over directive. First commercial flight lands in Ekiti Airport. Adebayo, Fayose, Fayemi, Oni, others, Lord Oyebanji. Protesting truck drivers block Ogiri for hours, causing gridlock on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Alleged 2.4 billion naira fraud. FG arraigns ex-aviation minister Stella Odua. Heavy energy drink may pose serious stroke risk, doctors warn. There's enough warning coming to people here. Analysts decry structural gaps in Nigeria's financial regulatory architecture. After revision of Q4 2025 issuance calendar, CBN auctions 750 billion naira treasury bills. Adeleke emerges Accord Party candidate for 2026 Osun Guba race. But we do have some other headlines. Osun 2026, Tinubu meets APC governorship aspirants. Insist on party supremacy. Candidates may emerge through consensus. Omishore absent at meeting. Insecurity crippling economy, discouraging investors. Can President laments. Army kills Turji's top lieutenant, Kalamo, in Sokoto operation. Okay. Well, those are the headlines there from Nigerian Tribune.
Okay, I think we'll take a quick one. On the cover page of the Daily Independent newspaper, the banner headline reads, no going back on withdrawal of police from VIPs. That's coming from President himself, Tinubu. And right after that, senators seek exemption of lawmakers from directive, condemn selective withdrawal of policemen from VIPs. The window headlines are, Serap, NGE asks Tinubu governors to end intimidation of journalists, CSOs. Reps enrolled the session over alleged non-remittance of 16 trillion naira by CBN. Tinubu raises panel to probe 4 trillion naira debt owed 2,000 contractors. Fubara denies rift with state assembly members. Atiku asks FG state to halt bloodshed in feud at Dimaba communities. NNPCL petrol import boosts the nation's stock to 71.5 million in November. Adeleke emerges Accord Party's 2026 Guba candidate. Another bold headline on the cover page of the Daily Independent. Chick price caught leaves farmers struggling ahead of Hilcha. Those are the stories you find on the cover page of the Daily Independent newspaper.
All right, then. Well, let's go to the story now. Senators are concerned about the president's order of withdrawing security detail from the senators. Senators lament. They say their lives are in danger. Well, let's talk about this when we come back.
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me Novisha Nelson One, your number one celebrity host, and you are watching Voice of the People Television, VOP. Stay tuned.
Uyi Osarite is my name. I am a friend of the microphone, Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging. Picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course, the quality of human beings I see sometimes on your channel. I talk and get paid, and I look forward to being in your studios.
Oh yes, you are on to Voice of the People TV. Live here in Benin City, the cradle of black civilization. What are you waiting for? Tune in, bro.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
In a world where power shifts its every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Join Moses, Chukuma and Fina on Voice of the People TM. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as they hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand.
Mr. Familoni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
My name is Made Kuti and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Glad to have you back. It's still VOP this morning. The senator representing Bauchi Central, Abdul Ningi, has described President Bola Tinubu's police directive to withdraw escorts from very important persons across the country as selective enforcement. During Wednesday's plenary, Ningi lamented that while his only police orderly had been withdrawn, many ministers, governors, business executives, and private individuals continued to enjoy full security details. He further stated that it is unfair and unacceptable for senators to be deprived of security cover, while others, including political appointees and business elites, continue to have armed security details. He called for immediate corrective action. Other senators joined him to seek exemption from the directive as being enjoyed by the President, Vice President, President of the Senate, Speaker of the House of Representatives, state governors and their deputies, among others, warning that lawmakers should not be used as scapegoats. In his remarks, the Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Jibril Barrow, who presided over the session, said issue raised by Ningi was extensively deliberated upon by the leadership of the Senate on Tuesday. He specifically informed the senator and other affected senators that efforts are being made to convince the presidency to exempt members of the National Assembly from utterly withdrawal implementation. We've been joined in the studio by Mr. Delifanimo, a veteran reporter, a public and political affairs analyst, and also we'll be joined by Prince Mayemi Benjamin Ogulami, a human rights activist. who will join us virtually. And from Port Harcourt, we'll have Chief Dr. Emmanuel Reyenama, a socio-political commentator and an advocate of good governance. He's also a seasoned and licensed human resource practitioner, a management consultant, and chartered mediator and conciliator. From Abuja, we'll have Philemon J. Kuko, a development economist, author, media and energy consultant, join the conversation. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Mr. Delefanimo.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Philemon, if you can hear me. Good to have you join today.
I can hear you loud and clear. Good morning to you.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here. I would like to start off from the studio, Mr. Delefanimo. What do you make of this, the issue raised by Senator Abduningi on the floor of the Senate about the withdrawal of their security details, saying that it's more like open them, the lawmakers now, to harm or even ill fate, if I'm to use that word. And he went further to talk about the fact that this is more like a selective directive. The president, the vice president, the Senate president, and every other, according to him, some top business elites still have their security details with them. So why would they pull out those of the senators? Recall, we have a video we just played during one of the banters that we had this morning, where the first son of the president saw the security details that's moving with him and all that. Please help us make sense of this.
So, let me start by saying that what is sauce for the goose should also be sauce for the gander. I would liken it to our clerics. When we run to them, they say, look unto God for your protection. But the next minute, you see them with mobile policemen in their tents, guarding them. Now, it is good for them to feel, even if they are going to return their oddlies to them, it is good for them to feel what we feel as ordinary Nigerians. They feel that because they are protected, then whoever cares to commit suicide is his business. Whoever is killed is his business. Now, they can't leave their homes. They can't leave their offices because, in the first instance, they are not doing what we voted them to do. Because if they are doing what we voted them to do, they will be protected by the masses. I've seen cases in the past where armed robbers will stop ordinary Nigerians that have impacted their communities. And when they see that particular man, they say, sir, we are sorry, sir. We didn't know you are the one. Please, go. They will clear the road for him. Those are people that impacted their communities. But the moment you have voted, you get to Abuja, you abandon your community. And then you cannot go home without security. Is that what we deserve as Nigerians? So if the president had decided to say, okay, also feel the way these people feel on a daily basis, you can't run to the police. Out of 380,000 policemen, you have 160,000 in the hands of these people. Over what? A senator goes with about 6 policemen. Whereas, apart from the 6 policemen on the road with him, he has about 3 in his house. Then another one in Lagos, if he has a house in Lagos, will be protected by the same number of policemen, and the wife would also have a policewoman carrying a bag and an umbrella when she's going out. So just a senator, almost 13 security aides. And they don't even like the regular policemen. It is mobile policemen. And mobile policemen were specifically trained to take care of riots and civil unrest. Go to anywhere now. In fact, the ones that cannot access the mobile policemen, because there is a difference between the regular policeman and the mobile policeman. And what they do is they use their own money to sew mobile uniform for regular policemen just because of their ego and pride. So that they will say, you see, ordinary policemen.
What do you think that the directive given by the president
for
is
me,
selective in any way?
I like the directive, even if it's not going to last. I know it won't last. You understand? But let them also feel the heat. So that when they are legislating on the floor of the National Assembly, they will now know that, look, beyond what you think you have, Nigerians also feel the way you feel when they are exposed, but they don't have anybody to cry to.
Okay, let me ask you this question. A lot of Nigerians, align their positions with yours, the position you have taken now, and they have held this withdrawal of the escorts, details from very important personalities, especially politicians, music stars, and all of that. I like to you already made an analogy, like when armed robbers confront people of means in society who have impacted the society positively, they say, oh, sorry, we didn't know it was you, and they let them go, put them out of harm's way. This policy, how do you think it will reshape society?
This policy, yes.
Yes, to the extent that it will now spur people in government to act and impact their people positively. How do you think it will happen?
Now, what this has just done to us in Nigeria, particularly the masses to which I belong, is the fact that stripped of that momentary office you occupy, you are just human like you and like you and I. So then it should be registered in their psyche now that, look, beyond the paraphernalia of office, you are like us. And then you now begin to empathize with us and see things the way we see it. Not that you are far flung and removed from the reality of what you and I are facing. Now, they are going to return their security details. But what I would advise is, those who take like 10, 15 policemen, they should be reduced to 2. And as a matter of fact, if harm will come their way, no matter the number of policemen that they carry about, we have seen these bandits, these terrorists attacking governor's convoys, even president's convoy. So who are you? But if you do well, even some bandits may even look at you and say, that popular man, no, let's release him. So what it is now instructive for them to know that whatever office you occupy, it is not for you to begin to exploit Nigerians, but to impact Nigerians in whatever way you can.
All right, then. Thank you very much for that, elaborate analysis there, Daily Fanimo. Thank you for your contribution. Now let's take this virtually to our guests. There's been a video playing on our screen. That video basically shows the president's convoy. I think this was sometime after elections. This is the convoy of the president. I don't know. I was trying to count earlier when the video was playing. You will lose count. You will lose count. But this is the president. I don't know if this is appropriate and how many. And the annoying thing here is how they drive sometimes. You see this? Just check that out. See this? For what purpose? What if there's a mistake in the steering wheel or something, or the brake fails? You run into the crowd cheering. Now, this is what we have. Well, let's take this conversation to Philemon. Mr. Philemon Ajakuko. Good morning. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Great. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. We've seen this video. We've seen the president's son was also with a retinue of security detail the other time. What do you make of all of it? Is it that the IGP has lost control of his men? Because the president, the commander-in-chief, or CNC, as we now say, gave an order. When he gave that order, there was no ambiguity in it. He didn't say some VIPs. We know that senators are VIPs. Private individuals with money are VIPs. The president said, withdraw police detail from VIPs. There was no ambiguity in his statement. But the senators retained theirs, the president's son retained his, and some other individuals retained theirs, until just the other day we saw a policeman who was demoted because he was seen with a VIP in public. And we've seen them in parties in recent time with 2 or 3 security detail. Is it that the IGP is losing ground with his men, or is it that the police, the structure, don't even know how many men they have out there guarding individuals? And the president's order, has been flouted to the point where he had to say it again. What do you think is going on here?
It's a bit amusing. Let me even start from what I experienced at a conference sometime last week. A so-called VIP came in, wanted to deliver a speech, and a policeman went behind him to stand. And I was wondering, okay, what's really the point of a police officer standing behind somebody who is giving a speech? Does that protect the VIP? Because if I'm going to shoot somebody, I'm going to shoot from the front anyway. So you're standing behind him. What does it mean? It means nothing. But coming to your question, this is not the first time. I'm glad that the first speaker said that I hope it lasts. Those were his words. We have had these kind of orders several times, and it may not last. But that's not the issue. The issue is, why do we feel so insecure? And it is very simple, looking at it from the point of development. If you take a profile of countries that are highly developed, the more developed a country is, the less protection public officers need. So one symptom of underdevelopment is this aggrandized sense of insecurity. Or there are people who do not really feel insecure, but they just want to display. They want this outward display of, I am a man of status. I have come of age. This is where I am. So I need people around me. They enjoy that atmosphere of 2, 3, 4, 5 policemen running around them. I once worked in the government house, and this was an ex-senator. He had a truckload of police officers. Whenever I come to government house, I will ask myself, you are an ex-senator, and you are going around with a truckload of police officers. What do you need these guys for? Are they really? Is there really an existential threat to these people? The answer is no. It is no. It is just this.
What do you think it's for? Clout?
Say that again.
What do you think it's for? Is it for clout?
Yeah, it is. It is for clout. They just want to show that they belong to a certain class of people. Let me give you an example. I ran into Dangote at the airport, at the Abuja airport one day. They were driving in as I was leaving the airport. This is the richest man in Africa. He was sitting in the back of a vehicle. I'm trying to remember, it wasn't an expensive vehicle. There was no police officer in the car at all. There was no escort of any kind. This is the richest man in Africa. Who is really more at risk between, say, a Dangote and a senator?
It depends on where you think the risk is coming from. If the risk is coming from the people who feel aggrieved at the political class, I think the political class are more at risk, because
let me tell you something. Let me ask you something. Do you think that having 12 police officers around you is really a protection?
Don't you think so?
I don't think so. I don't think so. The president of America has the FBI around him all the time. How many presidents in America have been shot and killed? It's just a question of opportunity. Are these people, are they really trained to secure people? A lot of these guys, a lot of these politicians just hang around.
My question really is, why will the president's order be flouted the first time to the point where he had to make a second statement on the same matter?
Because it is a business. I hope you understand that.
And the president doesn't have a grip of those under him.
We had a situation where a president asked the IGP to go to, was it Benue State or somewhere, or Kogi State? You remember? I think Benue State.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember?
Yes,
Was the IGP there? Did he ever make any attempt to go there? So we have people who are giving, and that's something that I also find interesting. There's a book called The Sheikh CEO. I think everybody should go and read it. It's about the man in the United Arab Emirates, the way he operates as a president of the place. When he gives an order, he personally sees to it that that order is carried out. So, sometimes you have this question of, it is the president cannot do everything. It's the people around him that don't carry out whatever he says. That is absolute nonsense.
Yeah, we still have, some questions in this regard. But let's quickly let's go to Chief Dr. Emmanuel Irayanama. Chief Dr. Irayanama, good to have you on the show. It's been a while.
Always my pleasure. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Now, I would like your reaction to that. And then my question to you is, now the president said about 100, that was the initial statement that the president made, 100 policemen withdraw from VIPs.
100,000.
Pardon?
100,000.
100,000, thank you very much. 100,000 policemen withdraw from VIPs, take your protection from civil defense. Do we have up to 100,000 civil defense individuals in Nigeria? Don't you think there will be some sort of vacuum? How do you think they intend to make that up? I mean, if details will be withdrawn from all senators, National Assembly members in general, and other VIPs, and they have to go to and then they're like how many now? I think 400 and something, 360.
109.
109. So about 475. So, and they don't have one. They don't have two. They have more than two. So if you want to do the maths, my colleague here is not good at maths, but he's attempting something. So if you want to do the maths, they might the National Assembly might take up more than half of that 100,000, or about half of 100,000. And then where do you think we'll get the rest from? Seeing that the civil defense don't even have up to that manpower under their employ.
Before I first go back to why what is happening, the truth is that the supposed Nigerian leaders are far away from their people, hence their fear to reach them. That's the first reason why you hear that cry in the Senate. I mean, which government official should be closer to the people, if not their representatives? So why fear? It simply meant that you have unrepresented body. And so for me, this call of withdrawal is a call for accountability. And it's justified. Now, the second question you did ask that I heard was, why does it seem that the order of the president is not implemented? We have lost the command and change process in the Nigerian civil service and indeed in the security agencies. Now, the question is, how do people get these security persons? You have the local commanders in the state, you have the commissioners of police in the state, you have the IG. You even have divisional police officers who give out security persons. And I can even surprise you that there are beat commanders too who do the same deal. Just beat commanders who do the same deal. And the question is, at the point, who is who? People are sent on set official beats. From the beats, the commander send them somewhere else. It happens. Now, let's get back to the opportunity for private securities to also get involved in a national security architecture properly. Do all these people need the regular police for their security? What's happening to our private security markets in the first instance in the country? you claim you have so much money and you must find security, why not find security in that market?
How functional
What's our
is that
security system
market,
doing?
really? How functional is it?
It will only be functional when we limit the use of public security.
Okay.
The public security at which that market becomes nonsense. And what we're talking about in this country is that we need to change the entire architecture of security, securing people and properties. And if that market grows, it will complement the state security system properly.
Okay, Dr. Roy, let me stay with you. Hello, doctor, let me stay with you. Now, the president made a very clear statement. He said,
yes, sir.
100,000 policemen withdraw them from protecting very important personalities, VIPs. But if you need protection, go to the NSCDC. That president's statement is recognition of the fact that these people need protection. Do you agree with the president? Do they need protection?
I would say it in two ways. One, it's a question of if you need protection. It's not as if he thinks they actually need protection. If you think that state will give you some level of protection, go to that agency and manage whatever you think you can have there. And it's again to develop the private security market. But if you get there and the number is not enough, you'll find way. We know Nigerian security systems that are doing around our sister countries, but they can't operate fully well in because the market is not favorable. Elsewhere, most private investigators do better work than even the state investigators. Why can't we take an opportunity like this to grow that market and see what we can get for ourselves and help ourselves? So it's, for me, it's an if thing. If you think need, go to the civil defense.
All right. Now,
go and use the civil defense.
Now, Dr. Ray, I want to ask you directly.
The private security market.
I want to ask you directly now. These people, do they actually deserve protection? How about you and I, the ordinary people? What's the difference between us and them? If they do right in society, if they impact society positively, would they be needing security?
Answer it very straight.
I didn't get that, sir. Come again.
You see, you ask. Most times I like you because you ask questions that you answer in the long run. Because the truth is very simple. They do not need security if they are actual representatives of the people. They don't. If they are actual representatives of the people will be enough to secure them.
Okay.
Now, I'll tell you something. Today, our legislators and indeed people in government are such that they have no experience anywhere, they've never worked anywhere in their life, and they just get into something and all they do is stealing. That alone is enough for you to be insecure. That alone is enough for you to be afraid. Because the people know you. They know you.
All right, Chief Dr. Emmanuel, thank
Somebody
you.
Somebody gets into government, and the only work he has done in his life, the only work he has done is ticketing in a motor park.
Thank you, Chief Dr.
And the next day he becomes
for your submission.
Cars that nobody can direct. And then he says he will be safe. He won't be safe. He will carry the entire world as security to guide him, to guide those things he has stolen. And that's what happens.
Interesting point you raised there. Let's take the conversation to Benjamin Obeyemi, who joined us virtually here from Lagos. Good morning, if you can hear me. Mr. Benjamin.
I can hear you.
All right, if you can hear me. Why is the withdrawal of the audience from VIPs raising doors? So we didn't hear much trouble when SUVs were bought for the senators. You know, recall that one of the senators of the opinion that the reason for that is the bad road that we have, and it might endanger them if they are to go to their constituencies with normal vehicle. Hence, the acceptance of the vehicles, sophisticated vehicles that were being bought for them. Why do you think we're having this back and forth? You know, the likes of Abduningi calling it a selective directive, even if a judge too also raised, another opinion saying that even them that are judges whose security details were withdrawn too are being exposed to harm because of the, judgment that must have dropped during court session and all that.
If any group of people actually need security, perhaps it will be the judges alone. But let's get back to why, and I did mention part of the reason why I think it is so. I gave you an instance here where somebody who was a nobody, just because he got a mandate, either by force or through the real process, he becomes a millionaire overnight. The question is, what does that attract? It attracts insecurity. Many of them in power today cannot account for how they got their wealth. And yet, millions of people who ordinarily are supposed to be entitled to that wealth are poor. And you think they feel safe? They won't feel safe. They know. And I give you an instance of a gentleman who had never worked in his life. Never. There's no record of him working any place in his life. And all he has done is that he has been on a payroll over time. And you think the people will be happy? Of course, you will see him. In fact, the president may not even have a quarter security that someone like that would want.
It's clear here. Maybe they should increase.
And that's the danger. It is a fear of their actions. And security inflicted upon themselves by themselves. That's what their problem. Nothing else.
Let's also look at another point which some Nigerians have raised already, and that is about the fact that the president's first son, Seyi Tinubu, is still moving around with so much or so many security details. The Nobel laureate that we have in Nigeria, Wole Soyinka, talked about what he saw in a hotel and all that. So what do you make of it, please?
Madness of people in power and their associates. Seyi has no business with governance or government. But as he meddles into his father's position from time to time, he exposes himself to some level of insecurity. And that's the simple truth. He had no business ordinarily. If he was doing what he needs to do, we'll talk to him. He will pass like a normal person. But of course, when you stain your hands to some extent, fear also comes in. Our country has become such that people in power turn them overnight to gods. And in the same vein, their associates and people around them, including their children and wives, tend to take the same position. And that's where we have a problem. Who approved those security for him? How did he get them? It's either one officer that is wanting to curry favor or the other, or one that took money from him. What will be done to them? Nothing will be done to such officers. In fact, more than any other thing, Seyi will recommend those persons for promotions and they will be promoted. And so you tell me how that kind of attitude will stop. But it's something that we need to be concerned with. It's something Mr. President needs to look at.
Dr. Ira Yenema, as the president's son, shouldn't he be entitled to some form of security? I'm not talking about a large number, like one or two.
You said some form of security. You said some security.
Some form of protection. Yes. Some form of protection.
Some security, yes.
Okay.
Some, you said, yes, but not the type we see. Now, the first family as it were requires some element of security because they represent the nation. And that's, for me, is a given. But not the kind of security they carry we see. Is not in government. To what extent? That security is a function of exposure. The requirement for security must be a function of exposure. An interesting thing in this part of the world is what is causing that exposure? What is causing that exposure? Now, while a judge can say, look, I take decisions that amounts to life and death, and so I require security. What is happening in a representative? A senator or a National Assembly member will say he should warrant a security at that high level. That's the question we're trying to raise. What should the son of the president tell me he does that should make him require that volume of security we see him with?
Now, Doctor, talking about politicians, talking about senators and members of the House of Representatives, they have been classified as politically exposed persons. And you understand how our politics run here. Somebody has been defeated, policies have been made in government and they impact people somehow negatively. Shouldn't they have some form of protection when we classify them as politically exposed persons?
The classification is wrong in the first instance. And I said why? Why have they classified them in that direction? They are political stealing, thieving people. If you're seen as one thief what belongs to all, then all come after you. It's a very simple thing. And so it's that fear of those that will come after me, knowing that I took certain things that should partly belong to them. That is the fear. That's the exposure, nothing else.
Well, I don't think it's appropriate to classify all political
is supposed to be the people's
person as stealing and thieving. I don't think that's appropriate. So, some
I said majority. No.
Majority. Okay, a few of them.
If you don't want that, I will tell you why it is supposed to be all of them. And I tell you what.
Some of them.
I say something here clearly. No, I cannot even say all of them. And I will tell you why I say all of them.
Can't say all of
I
them.
said a typical representative is supposed to be a people's person.
Okay.
A people's person.
Just wanted to clarify.
And a people's person is not supposed to be exposed to insecurity, as it were. If you are a people's person, it already means that you have an army to protect you. The people are not armed to protect you.
All right.
So if you are not a people's person, that means you have either put yourself into that position, or you have done something wrong that the people will never want to associate with you.
Interesting. Well, thank you very much, Chief Dr. Emmanuel Irayanama. Thank you. Let's bring this back to the studio. Daily Fanimo. Now, let's pick it up from being a people's person and not being a people's person, and what it basically means for both the politicians and the populace. I mean, if the politicians feel they are not so close, they are afraid of the people that they represent, all right? And
they supposedly represent.
Supposedly. Yeah, no, they represent the people actually.
No, they supposedly.
Okay. And then they guard themselves with security detail, and they move around like that. More often than not, intimidating the people that they, according to you, supposedly represent. Okay. But what then should the people do in terms of deciding who should ably represent them, or who should represent them better? Since it doesn't seem like we have people's presence in political office.
You see, let me start with this example. When Thomas Nwalimu Nyerere left power, the communities around his village built a story building for him. He never had one throughout his tenure as president of Tanzania. Now, every morning when he wakes up, people from that community and adjoining communities, they donate food items at his doorstep, to the extent that at some point when he wakes up, and wants to look at the other end of his house through the balcony, the heap of sorghum, banana, plantain, and all that would be so high that it would be higher than a story building. And he had to call a meeting and say, please, I am old. I don't need this much. I can't even eat all of this. Please take care of other people that might need this and not me. That was security. Now imagine if anybody wants to try penetrating that particular house in that community, people will lay down their lives because he served the country selflessly. Look at our first generation political leaders, the Sardauna of this world, the Balewa of this world, Nnamdi Azikiwe, and all the rest. They never had this stupendous wealth around them, even when they served. They served meritoriously. But today, the only benchmark for serving this country is unbridled wealth. And that's why they are detached from the people. And because they are detached from the people, there is no way they will not want pseudo security. Because I call what they go about with as pseudo security. Because the security you require is the security of your community. Who will rise up and say, no, you cannot touch our own. But they prefer to surround themselves with praise singers. Now, all said, the only way you can make people align with you is to reach out to those people who surrendered their sovereignty for you to be in that office. And how do you do that? We have, for each of these National Assembly members, they have between 10 and 13 aides that are paid from taxpayers' money. But do they engage those such people? But those people are supposed to be the gap, to bridge the gap between you and your constituency. But rather, they spend that money, which is paid directly to their own account, on thugs and marabout, in some cases, prophets and clerics. So, it is so bad now that even legislators, they want to outshine governors. There is no line between executive and legislative arm. Imagine the kind of humongous palliatives that some legislators distribute. Were they sent to the National Assembly to come and make money? They were sent there to make laws. And because they stole so much, you can imagine as from next month now, which is 2026, you see them coming back home with kekena pep, with grinding machine, sewing machine, and all the rest motorbike for another 4 years. How can such a person feel secure in his community when he knows that the only thing he knows how to do is to bribe, to induce, not to serve the community the way that community will know that this person has served us? So there's no way you will not find all this. And that's why there's so much trepidation in the polity.
All right then. Well, we'll consider these concluding thoughts, right? As we move on to another
yes.
Your concluding thoughts. All right, so Mr. Ajakuko, let's get your concluding thoughts on this one, and then we'll move on to another conversation.
The gentleman in the studio has said a lot of great stuff, and I completely agree with his submission. Now, this if I may ask, the threat that these people feel, where is it really coming from? Is it coming from the people or from their own colleagues? I want you to think about this question very carefully. The threat that they feel, is it coming from the people or from their colleagues? Now, when you look back at history, how many politicians have been attacked by the ordinary people who are taking the brunt of their recklessness? How many? And how many have been attacked by their fellow co-travelers? How many? Think about that.
Well, in very recent time, I think last week or thereabouts, the governor of Niger State, his convoy was stoned by the people. He was driving into his own community, and the people threw stones at his convoy.
So I find that very amusing. Stoning a governor. What does that do to the governor? Stoning a governor.
But it shows displeasure.
As I said before, let me make this point very clear. As I said before, this whole thing is a business, and we know it is a business. People are benefiting from it big time. Just as you have terrorists, just as you have bandits, just as you have police at checkpoints. So it's a business. And who is benefiting from this business? You have the rank and file in the police who are benefiting from this. So when the president says, stop doing this, and that's the reason every time, whether the IGP or the president makes such a statement, it's never translated down the line, because such orders disrupt business. It does. And so even the man who is sometimes the IGP who is making the statement knows that, look, I'm just making this statement for the sake of it, because there's something coming from this end. And that's what it is. Except we want to put our head in the sand and pretend that nothing is happening. And that is why it will continue to be.
Okay.
As long as we don't have good governance, because it's all about good. My good friend in the studio just talked about Tanzania. I remember that story. They used to call him a nickname. They would go to his house in the morning and greet him, and the man will come out. If there is good governance, you won't have this exaggerated sense of insecurity. So what is happening is as a result of what they have been doing over the years, the negligence that they have perpetrated within the system. And that's even becoming a wider thing now. This terrorism, kidnapping and all that, it's as a result of failure of governance.
All right.
So they are the ones that have put us in this insecurity that they are crying about, that policemen are not around to take care of them. Who are they? Are they more important than us?
Oh.
It's a big question.
Are they more important than us? No, they are not. But do they feel more important than us? Yes, they do. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Ajakuko. Thank you very much for your contribution. Chief Dr. Emmanuel Irayanaman, now let's take a minute or two to take your concluding thoughts on this one, and then we get into another conversation.
The Nigerian leadership must understand that they can never get a better security than the people. It is a time to reflect seriously about how they have governed us, have presented us in the past. If their fear is a self-inflicted fear, their fear of insecurity is one imposed on themselves, either because they had forced themselves to become our leaders, even when we said they shouldn't be, from what belonged to all of us, and the fear that we might come for them. A greater fear should come. What they think is just insecurity, and the fact that their names, even their families, even when they are gone, may not be secured, because we know the source of their wealth. It's an opportunity for the thinking and for the economy. This is an opportunity to grow the private sector security architecture. We must support, we must change the narrative in this country where everything revolves just around government.
Indeed. Well, I absolutely agree.
For private individuals that actually need security, this is an opportunity. And we must take on this opportunity to make our country a better place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. I align my thoughts with yours on that one. The private sector security architecture needs to be developed, because that's how it is in other crimes. They register with the police and you can get security details from the private sector. I mean, I align my thoughts with yours. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Now let's go into another conversation away from this one. Let's talk about the hashtag End Bad Governance. That happened over a year ago. And some of those that were arrested, we hear that 11 of them have been acquitted. And they've been acquitted of treason, terrorism charges leveled against them. And their lawyer is asking for compensation. Let's talk about this when we come back after this break.
This is African News on Voice of the People Television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeats, the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People Television. Stay with us.
All right, welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja on Wednesday struck out all treason and terrorism-related charges filed against 11 protesters arrested during the August 2024 hashtag End Bad Governance demonstrations. Described by rights advocates as a landmark judgment, the court's decision fully acquitted the activists who had been on trial for over a year. While the protesters had been accused of attempting to destabilize the country during the demonstrations, which spread across several Nigerian cities in August 2024. The protests were sparked by frustration over rising insecurity, inflation, and alleged governance failures under the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The acquitted individuals had faced multiple charges, including treasonable felony, unlawful assembly, and alleged ties to terrorism. Security agencies during the heat of protest labeled some participants as threats to national security and detained them under controversial circumstances. Speaking after the judgment, counsel for the 11 protesters, Barrister Abubakar Marshal, demanded immediate compensation and formal apology from the Nigerian government. Well, Barrister Marshal, speaking to journalists outside the court, described the case as a state-backed persecution anchored on fear of dissent, insisting that the only offense of the protesters was demanding good governance and accountability. Well, we still have in the studio here with us Mr. Dele Fanimo, and from Port Harcourt, Dr. Emmanuel Iroyenema, from Abuja, Mr. Philemon Ajekoko. Gentlemen, thanks for staying with us. Dele, let me start with you. Good news, 11 protesters have been discharged and acquitted. You know, people that were arrested over a year ago, they were charged with treasonable felony. Now, that said, their lawyer, their counsel is asking for compensation.
Yes.
Okay, you agree with him. For what? What are the reasons?
You see, sometimes you look at the administration of justice in Nigeria, and you want to ask yourself that how much of confidence can Nigerians have in this sector? For instance, these people were arrested. It took a long while before they were prosecuted. And there was no concrete evidence. You see, the police can be very funny when they cook up charges against you. If a police IPO wants to deliberately detain you, he knows how to tweak charges that the offense will be unbailable. But it's for the judge to ask for the first information report and scrutinize. Cases we have seen that there's a collusion between the IPO and the man who wants somebody convicted at all costs. There are some people that, in fact, there was a particular story that broke out last week where about 34 people were railroaded by a particular judge and sentenced to death. And when these cases were reviewed, it was discovered that the same thread of accusation, the same thread of charges, and the man behind these cases was a big-time land grabber who uses the police and the judiciary to silence anybody that comes his way. And he was paying heavily. And it was this particular judge that he was using all through. Now, imagine what makes me think, because when you look at some of these scenarios, there is tendency for you to want to believe that maybe in the course of this particular incident, somebody just saw a leeway to rope in somebody, and there was no due diligence in investigating. For you to escape justice in Senate crimes, it takes a lawyer with ingenuity to escape you from justice. But here, it takes a lawyer who knows his way around judges.
Okay. Now, these people that have been freed, now, they were part of a larger group of people arrested
Exactly.
after the end. But
some were released.
Some were released. On
Out
the
of,
orders of the president.
no, because of public outcry.
Public outcry, yes, on the orders of the president.
On the order of the president.
The minors that were released.
And we thought that everybody had been freed at that time.
Okay.
We assumed that everybody had been freed.
No,
but now,
they were not.
the question now is, are we sure that this is the last batch? Some will still be languishing in jail.
I want us to speak about these particular people who were charged with treason, treasonable felony, an attempt to, which is to overthrow the government, to take over government. Does this speak to some kind of clamp down? Because, I mean, these people were merely protesting. They were not caught with arms. They were not caught with guns. They were not charged with gun running and all of that. Does this speak to some kind of clamp down, against dissent?
As a matter of fact, while not detracting from asking for compensation for these people, for the kind of trauma, the psychological, emotional, spiritual, physical, and mental torture they have gone through in the last 1 year or so. Another thing is, I should also congratulate them that they are still alive to regain freedom. Look at those women that were mowed down. I was watching the video this morning, and the only arm those people bore was green leaves. And soldiers opened fire on them. Would you ask for justice for those ones that have been killed, for them to come back alive?
We can ask for justice.
No, I'm asking, can they come back? Can they come back again?
They cannot come back alive, but we can stop those people that killed them from killing other people by bringing them to justice.
To justice. Okay. But the point is, these people, if they had been shot, is another story today.
No, they were not shot. I want us to speak to the larger issue of, look, people are protesting. Is there fundamental?
Why should people not protest? Look at the money that was released to local contractors. If there was no protest, if there was no coffin in front of Minister of Finance, maybe the president may not even know that these people are languishing. Some of them, as a matter of fact, most of them borrowed money from banks with as much as 35% interest rates that will not stop because government has not paid them. Now, some of them, even when they are paid now, the whole money will be lost to the bank and they will still be in debt. So, for me, protest is legitimate as long as it's not violent.
No, but okay,
and
it's
so
not violent.
those people, they protested legitimately. There was no incident reported that there was any security agent or any march to Aso Rock. Because you cannot overthrow government just like this laughable one that they did in Ibadan. These are stupid OPC people. They said they wanted to overthrow government. They went to secretariat on a Saturday when the governor was not on seat, when members were not on seat.
I'm not sure it's appropriate to call them stupid. I think they are fighting for a cause they believe.
No. It was a stupid thing they did.
Okay, you think that?
I know that they did a stupid thing. When you want to overthrow government...
Okay, they did a stupid thing. They are not stupid.
They are not saying they are stupid, but they did a stupid thing.
Okay.
For saying that you want to overthrow government on a Saturday when the man is enjoying himself, maybe in a party, and the house members were not even on seats. So who are you overthrowing?
Are we seeing the government, compensating these people and apologizing to them for keeping them in incarceration for over 1 year?
But they have to prove that they were unlawfully kept.
But he's been discharged. Acquitted by the court.
That is the
All
criminal.
charges against them
That
being
is
struck
that is the criminal aspect of the case.
Okay.
It has been proven that they were ab initio not guilty of treasonable
Or are we
felony.
going to see what happened to Nnamdi Kanu happened to them after a court have said you're discharged? You can go and, before you know what is happening, they will be called back again for that.
We have not seen that because if government wants to apprehend them, it will be at the entrance to the court. That as soon as they are released and they are marching out, they will grab them and put them in custody again. But that has not happened. So I'm sure that all of them are united with their families.
But do you think government in keeping these people and the other young people, in custody, the minors, yes, and the outcry that followed, do you think government has succeeded in gagging people?
Government will want to attempt to gag.
You don't think they've
But
succeeded?
I've not seen them succeeding because there have been protests.
What other effective protests have we seen after that?
But in Nigeria, we are not intentional.
So government has succeeded?
Government has, in a way, succeeded, but not totally. It's a pyrrhic victory,
Okay.
So we still have people who still protest, even after the clampdown. So that shows
we saw those that tried to protest. Omoyele Sowore, Nnamdi Kanu's
Sowore should even be happy that they didn't open fire on him like the women in Adamawa.
He ran away. He took off when he heard gunshots.
Well, he who fights and run away lives to fight another day.
Wisdom in running. Well, let's go to Mr. Ajakuko. Now we're talking about 11 protesters, the End Bad Governance protesters who were arrested over a year ago, I think August last year. Yeah, yes. About now they have been acquitted. But the lawyers are asking for compensation. And we're asking, well, my question to you is, with this arrest, detention for this period of time, over a year, detention, and other detentions, so the detention of the minors and the rest, do you think government has succeeded in gagging or curbing dissenting voices?
It's a treadmill. When you run on a treadmill, you are not really making any progress. You are just in one spot. So the interesting thing about all this is when you look back at history, when you go back to the days of the military regime, guess who was in the trenches then? Try to recollect the people that were in the trenches back then. Today, it is those people who were in the trenches then that are now in government, right? And then what the military dictators were doing to them then is now what they are doing to those who are supposedly protesting about bad governance. So there was a song I wrote last year. I call it the merry-go-round. So we are just going round and round and round. It will stop any protest. And let me also say that protests, in most cases, don't really achieve anything. If you look at history, we had the civil rights protest in the 60s. Till tomorrow, there's still civil rights issues in America and around the world. Look at what happened, the yellow vest protest in France. What became of it? Then later we had the protest against elongation of what's it now? Work years. Instead of retiring at 60 or something, you're now required to retire at 65. People fight for all kinds of things. But I will tell you something. Governance is about the heart. It comes from the heart. When people want to do good for society, it's not about protest. It will come from their heart. When you protest, they would do some like the gentleman in the studio said. They will do some palliative measures, and you'll be happy, and that goes away. And they go on to do whatever they want to do. That is why Africa is where it is today. How many elections have people protested? whether it's in Kenya, whether it's in Tanzania, whether it's in Nigeria or whatever, what has really changed? Not much. But it's unfortunate that we continue to go around this circle and we have this impression that we are making progress. I've seen people say, oh, we are making progress. Progress to what? Are we where we are supposed to be in terms of development? We are not. Are we near where we are supposed to be? We are not. So what are we really celebrating? But then when government wants to be mischievous, what they do is they pick you up, dump some charges on you and throw you in jail. You will be there for 2-3 years. At the end, your lawyer or the judge will say, no, there's no case here.
So what does that speak to the overzealous nature of the security agencies? Because they were the ones, who took these people to court, labeling some of them threat to national security, even people who are planning to overthrow the government and all that. What does that speak to, the overzealous nature of some security agencies?
That is what government does in this part of the world. That's what government does. They throw this thing. It's not that they are serious about these charges. They know some of these charges will not stick, but you have to give the court something to hold on to make a decision.
Not serious about the charges, and people have been, they were kept for over 1 year, and you say the government they are not serious with the charges or about the charges.
They are not serious. They don't. When you constitute a nuisance, government will act one way or the other to put that nuisance at bay. And that's what they do. So the lawyers that are demanding for compensation, I pray them, I wish them well, but I don't see any compensation coming to anybody.
So you're saying protesting
the fact that they have been released, they should go home and praise God.
Protesting hunger, bad governance, inflation, and insecurity in Nigeria now is constituted nuisance. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I'm not saying the act itself is a nuisance. I am saying that whoever is in government considers it a nuisance. I've just gave you an example. There's a book I read now. I think it was written by either Sunday Dare or one of those guys when they were talking about what happened during the Abacha years, how they were haunted and put in jail, and then they were seen as a nuisance by the military regime. So today, these same people we are talking about who are running Heta-Sketa, they are now in government. And they see everybody else out there who is doing the same thing that they did years ago as a nuisance. That's what it is. So it's not my definition, it's the way they look at it. But society is built on telling truth to power. But when you tell truth to power, when you are at the side of telling the truth to power, you see yourself as doing good to humanity. But when you yourself now transit into power, you now begin to see those who are doing the same thing you did years ago as nuisance.
Interesting point.
That's what it's just like today now. You have people who are going about saying they are civil rights activists. Guess what? They get into power. What do they do? Exactly the same thing. So what are we saying?
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ajekuko. Let's get Chief Dr. Mani Ereyanama join the conversation. What do you make of this? The release of the Abuja 11, people that protested the hashtag End Bad Governance in August 2024. We learned that Justice Emeka Nwite struck out all charges, against them relating to treason and trying to overthrow the government.
I'm not surprised, because treason is actually a much more heavier issue than what we saw with the NSAS government thing. And like Mr. Philemon did say, what you find usually is short-term quietening of protesters, as it were. Now, what government does once in a while is to find short-term ways of quelling what they consider, and I'm going to use this word now, nuisance to them. And what I have always said is, particularly the way protests in Nigeria the face of protests in Nigeria over the years, perhaps what protesters should begin to ask themselves is, to what extent has our protest yielded the results we had anticipated? How best can we turn our protests to yield better results? And I've always said one thing. protests in Nigeria over the years have been hijacked by miscreants. And most, if not all the time, the people they arrest are actually not even the people who mooted the real idea. It's those that, for them, are the fire blocks that can make the protest actually work. And so when they hold those ones, what you find is the real persons shift agenda and abandon those that have been arrested over the time. And then they keep them for some period and quell the situation, and then we'll come back to square one again. And the most painful part is that we shout most, if not all the time, not because we hate what is happening, but because we are not in government at the time. And of course, you heard what Philemon did, which is quite correct by me too, that look, the same people who made noise yesterday, as they get into power, they turn to the same thing. Those who were in power at the time that are making noise are, as it were. And so we need to find better ways of managing our protests. Perhaps constitutionally we have, and I keep saying this every other time, that we need to get organized instead of protest on the road. We need to get organized to the extent that we can take over the electioneering processes. We need to get organized to say, no, this is the actual person or this is the actual agenda we want to set for those that will become our supposed leaders. And then the laws are there in this country to protect those legitimate aspects. We must begin to ask ourselves, what have we done in the past that has worked and what has not worked, and avoid those things that have not worked and begin to test those that we think will work. You spend one full year and one day you hear nothing, there's no charges, you're discharged. At best, you get a compensation, which is also very difficult to get when it is actually government versus a person or a commoner, as it were. So we need to ask ourselves, is that a route we need to continue to take? My take on it is, thank God they have been discharged. But the biggest take is, must we go round this route every other time? How best could we do the same things we intend to use protest to do, so that we don't waste one full year in jail only to be said to be acquitted in the long run for no charge?
All right then. That's a good way to end it. Thank you very much, Chief Dr. Emmanuel Irayanama. Thank you for your thoughts, your contribution on the program, and also thank you to Mr. Philemon Ajekuku, and big thanks to Dele Fanimo, right here, public affairs commentator. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time and your contribution. Well, that's it on the show today. I hope, well, we'll be delving into newspaper review very shortly, and we'd like you to come along with us as we look at the headlines from the dailies. I am Moses Humphrey. I'll see you again at 10 o'clock.
And I'm Fina Okechukwu. Enjoy the rest of your day.
I am Chukwuma Okoro. Bye for now.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues, on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand.
This is African News on Voice of the People Television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeats, the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People Television. Stay with us.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as they hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before. Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us. To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria.